Hi, welcome to the EverSmart City channel. My name is Sophia Olivas, CEO of EverSmart City. EverSmart City uses shipping containers to provide affordable housing, powered by renewable energy, has sustainable agriculture, and is integrated with blockchain technology.
My name is Mark Anthony, co-founder of EverSmart City, and if this is your first time seeing one of our videos, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification button to get notified for all of our future videos, as well as look at our past videos. We have a bunch of videos on how we align with all the SDG goals, as well as a bunch of videos on EverSmart City and our development. But today we're going to talk about the four strategies of attaining sustainable development. Sophia's going to kick it off with some stats for you.
Yes, thank you. Let's first start off with what is sustainable development? The concept of sustainable development was described by the 1987 Bruntland Commission Report as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. It's an approach to developing or growing by using resources in a way that allows for them to renew or to continue to exist for others. An example of sustainable development is using recycled materials or renewable resources when building. Sustainable development encourages us to conserve and enhance our resource base by gradually changing the ways in which we develop and use technologies. I believe that countries must be allowed to meet their basic needs of employment, food, energy, water, and sanitation. And we at EverSmart City believe that the human basic needs of shelter, food, and water are the right of all. EverSmart will show that it is way more lucrative to build in a sustainable, collaborative manner, and that it directly results in the stewardship of the planet and of each other. So, we're going to go over the four strategies of attaining sustainable development, and then Mark will talk about how EverSmart City takes those on. So, the four strategies of attaining sustainable development is the use of environment friendly fuel, the use of renewable resources, recycling, and the use of input efficient technology. So, Mark, can you talk about how EverSmart does just this?
There we go. Now that I'm unmuted, I definitely can. So, just for starters, with the environmental friendly fuel, there's a couple ways that we're going to be looking into getting into environmental friendly fuel. One of the first ways is using natural gas to produce hydrogen fuel to be able to create hydrogen refueling stations. One of the reasons why we are a huge supporter of hydrogen fuel is that after hydrogen is burnt, the emissions uh, caused from hydrogen fuel is left over with water, whereas our emissions that we're using today release CO2. Um, So we're going to be having hydrogen refueling stations as well as electric recharging stations. Uh, if you have seen some of our videos or haven't, our community is going to be built off of this first one in Phoenix is off of a 2 megawatt solar system. So we're going to be implementing renewable resources in the form of solar on this project in Phoenix. As we get into future developments in other places, we're going to be implementing wind turbines, water turbines, geothermal using the heat from the ground and channeling it up. And that could even be used for passive housing is using the temperature from inside the Earth's crust, whether it's hot or cold, and using it to heat or cool your house by pumping the air up and down out of the earth into the home and cycling it. And that's what we're going to be using for passive housing, as well as biochar is another form of friendly environmental fuel, being that you can use all of the waste or trash, kind of like a compost pile, and use it to create a biochar, or a charcoal. Biochar is a very rich mineral resource that's heavily carbon based, or rich in carbon, and can be used in many applications, more renownedly in farming or agriculture, as a kind of like a nutrient for the dirt in the soil, putting a lot of carbon back in the dirt to help enrich the dirt. So it's one of the other things that we're going to be doing to implement recycling, reusing waste to turn it into biochar, to use it in our agriculture, to be able to enrich the dirt, grow better food. And fourthly is um, the input of efficient technology, which is where the blockchain comes in. We're going to be using that uh, in almost every realm that we can, from water metering to sub-metering the electricity, to using for a supply chain management software tool for the agriculture, but from the aquaponics, the hydroponics, the aeroponics, or the vertical gardening, and in the farmers market. So basically using the blockchain as an input efficient technology tool to track data from pretty much from seed to sale, in terms of the supply chain management of our fresh produce that we're going to be growing, all the data during the grow all the way to the sale, to really regulate, um, and monitor what we grow, when we grow it, to better save our resources in terms of water and electricity, because we're going to be saving water uh, from gray water recycling and black water recycling, and reusing and recycling and repurposing that water to help in our agricultural, as well as the biochar, um, and as well as the electricity, stored electricity. So we're really trying to reduce, reuse, recycle, and repurpose a lot of the things that the community uses, from electricity, water, and waste, and repurposing and reusing them as in many ways as we can, um, to create really a synergistic, self-sustainable environment. And so, guys, if you guys like talking about conversations like this, also be sure to jump in our Discord. We're always looking for new technologies, new systems,
Yes.
processes to learn from.
Yes. Would love to talk to you and discuss you more. The other way that we're sustainable is that we encourage the use of our two-wheel drive vehicles that are on our bodies at all time, that are being your legs. So we have pedestrian-only walkways where the Commerce has had. We have autonomous vehicles. If you do need it, we are over 40 acres, so we do have it that sometimes you can't walk, and it's not always. We want to make sure that we adhere to those that are disabled at the time. So we make sure that we have autonomous vehicles to be able to tout you around. But we also encourage and have spaces throughout the community that encourage physicality. So we have a sculpture garden. We have in our Phoenix area, we have a river, a floating river. There we go. A floating river where you can float and tour the city, the outskirts of the city, while being on the tube, because, in Arizona, you can do those things almost year round. And we also have a lot of open spaces that have music, art, sculptures, poetry. They're also covered by solar panels that are in beautiful designs that allow you to be shaded, and that have misters to keep you cool and encourage you to walk through and speak with people and be in comfortable areas. So we'd like to thank you so much for joining us in the EverSmart City channel, and we look forward to continuing these conversations on Discord in EverSmart City, where technology enhances the human experience.